All right, my name is Mike Adams, and this is Darnell Lewis with me today. And we are vets. This is our beer, and this is the Vets and Beer podcast. Today we're trying a beer that I've never had before. I bought it about 2 hours ago before you got here. This is from, let's see,
Ninkasi Brewing Company.
Ninkasi Brewing Company, Eugene, Oregon. It is called, it's another haze. This is a Hazematic. The one I tried the other day was the Prismatic, which I thought was okay. So this is a hazy IPA. I like hazy IPA.
The thing I like about this though is how they tell you what notes you're supposed to be tasting. Guava or a lot of companies they see that they don't do that.
Yeah, on the can here it says notes of. I'll put it on the screen when I have the video.
Yeah, so whenever because I haven't taken a drink yet though it's popped. I haven't taken a drink yet, but I'm definitely gonna be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, we'll be looking for hints of guava, orange, and juicy.
And juicy.
What the hell is juicy?
Yeah.
Does that just like mean it's like juicy? Like what does juicy taste like?
Juicy's definitely a flavor, folks. You know what I'm saying? If it's juicy, it's good always. but yeah, juicy. Okay, I'll be looking for notes of juicy.
I definitely like juicy. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Damn, that's actually pretty spot on. And I ain't gonna lie, I do taste the juicy. It's there.
It tastes like the juicy.
Yeah, it tastes like the juicy. It's there.
All right. No, I like it. It's smooth. It's a good hazy.
Great flavor.
Yeah. Well done, Ninkasi.
Yeah, do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, so last time, actually, I had a question on my notes next to me that I meant to ask you because I was like, okay, it'd be cool if every vet that I have on the show, if I asked them this question, just because I think it's something we all have an opinion on. We all have a very strong opinion on what I'm about to ask you, okay? So, you ready? What's the best MRE?
Ooh. You know what? I hear a lot of people saying the chili mac or whatever, which I can't hate on that, but there's the one was the penne pasta with the vegetable crump. You know what I'm talking about?
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think you're 100% right.
That thing smacks, and you usually get a Ranger bar on the inside.
Oh, see, I never could remember what came in with what. I would just know the title, whatever's on the bag. So on the bag it always says like the main dish, and then you have to kind in what you think is going to go with it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the guys had it memorized. They knew exactly what came in what. They knew the numbers. Like each MRE package has a number.
Yeah.
Like there were guys who knew these by the numbers. Like, hey, give me
the number 12.
Give me a 13. And it's like, okay, I don't know how you know what the hell that is.
No.
You know the baller move I would see senior NCOs do though? They'd walk up to the pack, not even look, grab one, and just walk away. Like the stack of MREs. They're just like, doesn't matter what we get.
Yeah.
I'll eat it.
You know, but I think an honorable mention, and it should be actually two of them, is the buffalo chicken. And then to be honest with you, man, the tuna. Because it's just because you like tuna because of the way it's packaged.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
Well, that's why I like the penny. It's just like having like SpaghettiOs or something.
Exactly.
Like, it's just like a canned pasta.
You know exactly what you're gonna get.
It tastes exactly like that because that's essentially what it is.
What it is, it's exactly.
As opposed to the other meals that just always miss. Like even if you have the chance to use the heater pack, which half the units I was in wouldn't let you use the heater pack.
I'm not sure if they actually like got it in, but even them trying to make the pizza MRE like. They had so many trial and errors before that thing was I'm not even sure if it's even a thing now.
Is that a thing?
Because I know that they tried like they had all kinds of like taste testings, all these freaking trials and shit, and it just never hit the mark. So a big up to Pizza MRE if it's out there.
Yeah. Well, because the thing about it is, in order to make it so that these things can last, MREs are designed so that like that they can sit in a storage container for 20, 30 years and then get pulled out and still be edible. Right? Exactly. So that they're designed for storage, which means they're not going to taste very good, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Because you have to stuff them with preservatives and all kinds of shit that's just terrible for you.
Well, that's part of the reason why you can halfway shit right after you eat MRE.
It backs you up. I mean,
it's
going to take a while to take a shit after you have an MRE, which is also good for the field because you don't want to be shitting in those porta potties if you're lucky enough to have porta potties.
If you're lucky enough.
So we're describing the field for training environments where we have porta potties. Yeah. What MREs are designed for is actually going somewhere like the woods where you're not gonna, like on a deployment on a mission on a real thing.
Yeah.
Where you're not necessarily going to have a porta potty unless you guys built it.
Yeah. So if you get in a firefight, you better hold what you got.
Well, it's all right. If you have an MRE, you don't got to shit. Like, you'll be all right. Yeah.
That jalapeno cheese will help you out.
Dude, well, remember when the jalapeno cheese was on like recall, and they were like, "Yeah, you can't eat if you get an MRE that has a jalapeno cheese, don't eat it because you will die." Like,
well, it's like whenever I went to the, where was it? The RCF one time to help pick up hot A's. It literally says on the boxes of some of this. I'm not sure if you want to put this in here, but on the boxes of some of the meat, like it was like the ground beef and something else, and it basically states on the box that it's only for military use or for prison use.
Yeah.
Like, so there's like no one else can eat this, but this is reserved for us. Like,
yeah,
what?
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, yeah, like
means the FDA had to sign a waiver of some sort, like.
Like, yeah, we cool.
We're cool. We're cool with them eating it, but your everyday Karen will complain, so we can't.
Let me speak to your manager.
Exactly. we can't be giving this out to Karens. They're just gonna be blowing up our phones all day.
Hey, but I never had an issue, man. Like getting hot A's.
Hot A's. So hot A's is when like we would go to the prison actually and go to their cafeteria and pick up food that was actually made by the cafeteria workers, and we would take that to the field. That was a treat. Like once a day, you'd get a hot meal instead of having to eat the MREs.
I'll take those powder eggs any day.
Oh yeah, dude. Remember the ones in Yakima? Did you go to Yakima with us? And you had the eggs that they had there.
Yeah,
those were the worst eggs I've ever had in my entire fucking life.
Yeah.
Like it tastes like straight cardboard. You know, every now and then someone will give me shit because they're like, "Oh, you put ketchup on your eggs." I'm like, "If I'm putting ketchup on my eggs, it's because I don't.
Terrible.
It's because I don't like the eggs.
They're terrible.
If the eggs are good, I don't put ketchup on them."
I would pound them with that freaking Texas Pete hot sauce.
Yeah. Oh, the hot sauce was going around on that. I remember that. Yeah. Everyone was passing on the hot sauce. I don't like hot sauce, so I was using every ketchup packet I could get my hands on. I was pretty much just eting ketchup.
Yeah,
all right. Well, that's my breakfast. Let's go shoot some 50 cals.
Those things were terrible. I mean, I'm like, is this Jello or is this eggs? Like,
that was the worst food I've ever had in my life. Like in my entire life. I've had food where like I instantly threw up. I'd rather have that than.
But I'm pretty sure it was Yakima, where they had the little Welch's graham cracker peanut butter and jelly bar things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I used to grab like 3 or 4 of them and put them in my assault pack for later.
Yeah, a bunch of guys. It wouldn't surprise me if someone said, "Oh, I saw you do that." Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I'd be like, "Yeah, I probably did." Yeah, I don't remember specifically doing it, but I probably did.
Because Welch's, the company, discontinued those things,
really?
And so they're not even around anymore. And so like, whenever we
that's an issue when the army's having all this like ancient food that's not even around anymore. They're like, hey, do you want a Volt energy drink to go with that?
How old is this? Don't worry about it. Just drink it. Yeah. Don't ask no questions.
Sergeant, this expired 10 years ago.
You open it up, it's just dust. Drink it, you'll be hydrated.
Dude, that shit, what was I watching? I was watching a movie. Oh, no, I was watching Big Bang Theory, that TV show. And they were drinking a Volt energy drink. And I was like, damn, that shit was good. Like,
yeah, I mean.
Remember Volt? Like, yeah. I loved that.
I like Volt. I mean, granted, I don't do much caffeine because it makes my Agent Orange act up. I get like hella anxious and I'm like, ooh. But I have tried Volt and it was pretty good. It's actually probably one of the better ones around whenever it was around.
Well, I think they pitched it or sold it as like, this is a soda that you can drink as an energy drink, like a sports energy drink type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I remember like in Little League Baseball, like I'd have a Volt energy drink sitting in my bag. Yeah, no, and everyone did, like the entire team. Everyone's got Volt energy drinks. Like, it made no sense. It's carbonated soda. Like you're still gonna cramp up. It's not. But they sold it as, hey, it's a soda you can drink while playing sports. Oh, okay. Yeah, no one questioned it. We just did it.
We just did it, yeah.
we probably saw like one MLB player do it, and then we all went, oh, so that's what you do. You have a Volt energy drink when you're playing baseball. When you're trying to hit a dinger,
Hitting dingers.
I saw Ichiro Suzuki do it once, so that's why he's so good.
Shout out to Ichiro. At one point in time, he was my favorite baseball player.
Seattle Mariners legend.
Yeah.
I have his jersey.
Because it was Nomar Garciaparra, and then I watched Ichiro play, and I was like, this dude's amazing.
So I was in Japan when he retired in Japan. Mm-hmm. The Mariners got to play 2 games in Japan. I had just got there with the station there in the Army. And the Mariners went to Tokyo for a 2-game series, and then Ichiro retired at the end of the second game. Everyone knew it was coming. Yeah. My parents came to visit me, so we watched from a Hooters in Tokyo. We got to watch Ichiro retire and kind of like do his final like wave goodbye and everything. And it was chills talking about it. It was emotional because it was just like after all those years, and it brought me right back to my childhood. Because when I was a kid, I was living in Redmond, Washington. Mm-hmm. He was like the first player that like really got me into baseball, and it brought me right back to being a little kid.
It's almost like childhood hero. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when kids like in like the 60s and 70s were idolizing like. You've seen Sandlot. I think Sandlot takes place in the 50s.
Yeah.
Whatever, and all they can talk about is Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Like what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like your childhood hero, and like you watch his whole career, and he's retiring. It is kind of an emotional moment. I can understand that.
100%. Well, it's nostalgia at its finest. Kind of like anytime I go to the theaters and the movie starts a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I'm brought right back to being a kid, watching those movies on repeat, playing with my Obi-Wan action figure. Like
at one point in time in my life, I was even speaking of Star Wars. They had the Pod Racer game on N64,
yes.
And I would play that game like pretending like I was like Anakin, like in that scene where he, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I always picked Anakin. I was such an unoriginal kid. All my friends always wanted to be like, "Oh, I'll be Shabolba." He was the guy with the badass pod racer. They all wanted to be like these other characters. I was always like, "No, I got to be the hero." Who turns out to be a very, very horrible person, but kills kids later on and everything. He's a terrible, fucked up man. But as a little kid playing the video game, we hadn't gotten to the point where he was killing kids yet. So I was like, yay, Anakin, that's who I want to be.
You know what? The thing is, though, like, people can't deny this simple fact. Aside from Emperor Palpatine, because, I mean, that's different. But, like, when it comes to Jedis, freaking Darth Vader's kind of the GOAT, bro. Like... Anakin's kind of the GOAT.
Well, when it comes to Sith.
Sith. He's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. But you get what I'm saying. Like people who have Force.
Well, he's not better than Yoda, though. Like Yoda still would kick his ass.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yoda was a G.
Like Yoda was doing it for 500 years, before. We're nerding out hard right now, but that's fine. He was doing. I talked about Halo in the last episode, so this is all fair game now. This is all fair game, yeah. We opened the floodgates last time. No, Yoda was doing it for like 500 years before episode 1.
Yeah.
So
I'll give you that.
In total lifetime, he was kicking everyone's ass. And even in the end, when at the end of episode 3, Yoda doesn't go to fight Anakin. He's like, no, Obi-Wan, that's your fight.
That's your fight.
You can't take on Palpatine.
He's like, take my light work.
Yeah, he's like,
take my light work.
Yeah, he's like, I'll take Palpatine. You take. Which one thing I've wondered a million times since seeing that movie: why do they have to go 1-on-1? Like, couldn't they both go to Mustafar, kill Anakin, then both of them go to Coruscant and kill Palpatine? Yeah. Like, why was their strategy? Hey, let's play man to man.
Let's play man to man. Sometimes you got to double team that number 1 guy.
Well,
that's the thing.
Anakin barely made it out against Obi-Wan. Against Obi-Wan and Yoda, he's dying. It'd be over pretty quick, right? It'd be a very boring movie, actually.
Yeah. Landslide victory. All right, on to the next.
And Palpatine, and even Palpatine barely escaped Yoda. So,
exactly.
So if Obi-Wan and Yoda are going, it's okay. It's over. Jedi win. Good guys win. Good guys. The next 3 movies don't make any sense now because they came out first, so but that's why George had to connect the dots. He's like, I got to make this somehow.
That's got to be. I wouldn't say hard, but that had to be a task. Like, so we have and now we're making these prequels, and it's like, let's make this story make sense. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Without bringing other characters into it from who were in the originals, because I can't really reference them too much because that might mess up their storyline and everything. Yeah. Especially what we're seeing in. Did you watch the Obi-Wan TV show?
Oh, I watched almost all the first season, and then I lost my subscription.
Oh.
So I think the last 2 episodes I didn't watch. I was watching with my son because my son's super into Star Wars. My son's a nerd like I am. So
everyone is. Who doesn't love Star Wars? If you don't nerd out over Star Wars or Marvel or Harry Potter or something.
I mean, even my mother, my mom, she's a Trekkie. She loves Star Trek.
Yeah, my mom too. I tried to watch as a kid. My mom made me watch Star Trek Voyager on repeat. I fucking hate that show. It's so bad. And then my dad. So it had been years since I watched this fucking show because I hate it so bad. It had been years. And then my dad went back and rewatched all of them, and he did this really sweet thing. He made a matrix of the episodes that are relevant. So he's like, okay, try to watch it in this format instead of just watching it straight through because you won't ever make it. He's like, instead, okay, there's like 6 episodes in season 1 that are relevant. There's 5 in the next, like, so you can just follow the story. I tried to do it that way. I made it all the way to the last season, and I was just like, it still sucks. Like, I still can't. I had like 3 episodes to go, and I was like, I can't, guys. Like, it's just a waste of my life.
But the thing is, and so I'm not like you. I don't despise Star Trek. I actually thought it was okay, but that's the thing. It's just it's okay. And so like I feel as if it was less cheesy. I mean, that's really what it is.
That's my thing. It's super cheesy.
Yeah, if it was less cheesy.
The newer movies are actually decent.
Yeah, if it was a little more like raw and to the point. But I mean, I guess that was the time of TV then, if you think about it.
That is the thing. It's before our generation, so like it's not like we can relate to it the way that our parents can relate to it, you know. But although Star Wars had already come out and that wasn't cheesy.
No.
You know, Star Wars was in the mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
So I think 77. I could be wrong. But yeah, so Star Wars already come out and that wasn't cheesy. So Star Trek has no fucking excuse. That's what I'm saying.
It's like, get your shit together, Star Trek.
Yeah. the new movies with Chris Pine weren't so bad. I kind of liked those.
No,
movies,
yeah, they weren't terrible. They weren't terrible.
So they got their shit together eventually. Just all the William Shatner, that whole thing was terrible. The Next Generation, I didn't like any of that.
You know what? Well, first off, I'm gonna chop this up a little bit. I'm gonna kind of bounce around, so I do apologize. Have you been following the build-up to the fights on Saturday?
On this coming Saturday?
Yes, Cyril Gane and John Jones.
No, I watched the fight last weekend, the boxing match between Jake Paul and Fury.
What did you think about that?
It went pretty much how I thought. Actually, I thought Paul would get knocked out. Paul did better than I was expecting him to do, to be honest.
Well, people just count him as a viable boxer. Like, I don't... For me, I feel like if Jake Paul wants to box, actually get into the rankings, the WBO, or whatever, and box, right?
Yeah.
And he has his own platform, and I don't hate on that at all. Like, a come up is a come up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't knock the hustle. I don't knock the hustle.
He was a Disney Channel kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't fault him.
But the thing is, if you consider yourself to be one of the best, because at one point he was calling out Canelo even. Get in there with those guys, man.
Yeah.
You know, like
this was his step into that. But he lost.
He lost, exactly.
So you lost to a guy who really doesn't even compete with all those other guys. Yeah. Anyways, Tom Fury.
Yeah, Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury. That's right. Yeah.
Tommy Fury is mediocre at best in his division. Even before that, I think his last 2 fights were wins, and he did pretty well. The only thing that Tommy Fury did, because he is, I'm not gonna say an actual boxer, because that makes it feel like I'm saying that Jake Paul isn't a boxer, but Jake Paul's actually been training in boxing for long before he even...
Yeah, but a lot of people train in boxing, but you're not... That doesn't make you a... Well, how can I say this? Because you're getting paid for it, so you're technically a professional boxer.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that he's not a pro boxer.
He's
not an elite boxer.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You know what I mean? But he's definitely a student of the game, and it showed. But like I said, I still don't really care too much for the guy. But Tommy Fury outlanded him, looked better, utilized the jab,
and there was one slip at the end. That's the only thing that Paul had going for him was that one slip.
Yeah, and
other than that, it was Tommy Fury's fault.
And the thing is too, that's the whole thing that I've been screaming this whole time. You put a halfway decent, viable boxer in the ring with Jake Paul, and you're going to see what kind of boxer he actually is.
So I think it's exactly what we got. What you say? I mean,
no, exactly. I mean, so you got somebody who actually does this shit.
Yeah,
you put him in.
Who's decent, not the best, but decent.
Decent. Yeah. You know? And so you might want to keep that Canelo call out, on the back burner until you can figure yourself out for now.
No, go back to fighting retired celebrities. I mean,
and let's be fair. Like people talk about his knockout against let's see, Tyron Woodley and then Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson, basketball player. Mm-hmm. And Nate Robinson, I mean, as soon as you saw him in the ring, you could totally tell wasn't meant for the ring.
Yeah, no.
Well,
guys, their egos get in the way, and they go, "Oh, I'm bigger than you. I can fight."
I can fight. Yeah.
It's just like, well, boxing isn't necessarily like a street fight. Like, it's not.
It's the sweet science.
Exactly.
It's hitting
logic, with. There's strategy. Mm-hmm.
There's a chess game going on there. Exactly. It's being able to hit without being hit. That's what they call it, the sweet science. And then you have Tyron Woodley. Whenever you watch any of his fights. I mean, yes, the dude had a massive overhand right. You know what I mean? And he had power. Let's be honest. And I'm going to say it. Tyron Woodley's hands suck. He's a wrestler. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great wrestler. He's a strong person. You know what I mean? And he has a whole lot of power. So his knockouts on the feet were simply because of that. His athleticism and his strength. It wasn't because he sit there and freaking, I don't know, like chess gamed his way into a checkmate. You know what I mean? He freaking threw that overhand right with his eyes closed and landed. It happened. Like, you know what I mean? But other than that, that dude's a pure wrestler. So you got Jake Paul knocking out these two dudes, beating up on an old Anderson Silva, which I will say Anderson Silva did give him work until, to the later rounds. And then now you put him in with, Tommy Fury, someone closer to his age, someone who actually does this. And
someone who comes from a boxing family. I mean, a good boxing family, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Tyson Fury is arguably the best in the game right now, right? I mean, is there anyone better right now? Is there anyone you would say is
Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury is nice. Yeah, I love Tyson Fury. The Gypsy King, that boy's nice.
Yeah. So, all right. So I want to talk NFL a little bit. Let's talk about, first of all, your boy Mike McCarthy, your head coach of your favorite team, your Dallas Cowboys.
You know what I'm saying? Respect the star.
Well, this week he was quoted as saying, this is according to a Yahoo report, "I've been where Kellen has been. Kellen wants to light the scoreboard up, but I want to run the damn ball so I can rest my defense." Do you think this is a shot at Kellen Moore, or what would you describe this as?
No, I mean, first off, I'm just going to say this. If it was up to me, Kellen Moore would be our head coach. But that being said, I do understand what Mike McCarthy is saying, because ball control is a big thing. Ball control is a big thing. And I think that gets overlooked because of the way offenses are ran now. People want to be like your Kansas City Chiefs. People want to be like your, Cincinnati Bengals. People want to be like those type of teams that'll sit there and put up 35 points average. You know what I mean? A game, like, just lighten up the scoreboard. But, like, sometimes you do have to help your defense out. I mean, there's been plenty of times where you see teams who do light the scoreboard up and then they lose games simply because they're Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Their defense is out there gassing. Mm-hmm. Because as soon as you come off the field, 3 plays later, it's like, are you serious? Like, we got to come back out there? I haven't even had a chance to put my oxygen mask on. And now you got to run back out on the field and defend a freaking top 3 quarterback? I mean, that's not going to happen. So I think ball control is a big thing. You're going to get a lot more out of your entire team, I feel, whenever you focus on ball control versus on lighting the scoreboard up. I mean, look at Mike Tomlin. When's the last time he had a losing season? Never with the Steelers. He's always gone 500 or above. Right? And so, and reason being, that dude plays ball control football. As bad as any of those Steelers teams were, like even this past year, terrible. Mm-hmm.
Well, winning record.
But why? Ball control football.
Is that good enough, though?
You play to your strengths.
Is that good? Like so, you gave me a lot of fuel here, man. Because
go ahead.
Because a lot of you were killing yourself on your own points here. And here's what I mean. First of all, talking about the Super Bowl, who won the game? The team with the more explosive offense, right? Yeah. The team that put up the more points. Mm-hmm. So maybe that high-powered offense thing works. It certainly works for Kansas City. Mm-hmm. Been to 5 straight AFC championships. Mm-hmm. Who had the better offense was definitely Kansas City. Mm-hmm. Who had the better defense? Definitely Philadelphia, right? But it didn't matter because they had such a high-powered offense. So is in the modern NFL where offenses are so heavily protected, is that maybe the better way to win football games? You brought up Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, when's the last time he went to a Super Bowl? When's the last time he went to an AFC championship?
Well, when's the last time he had a losing record?
Never.
Exactly.
That's okay. So that's good. That's slightly above, and I love Mike Tomlin. So don't. The point I'm about to make, please, the haters don't come after me. But that puts him over the last couple of years just one step above Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis was a pedestrian coach, kept making it into the playoffs, and that was good enough to keep his job until finally the Bengals went, okay, enough. We need to get past this. I'm not saying that the Steelers should move on from Mike Tomlin whatsoever. But at some point, you do have to start to question, how come we're settling for good enough? You have a winning record by a game. In the last game of the year, by the way, is when you got to that game to make it a winning record. So in the last week of the year, it's always funky because it depends on who you're playing and who has motivation to play for what and all kinds of things. So I don't know if I want to put too much into he didn't have a losing record last year. It wasn't a great football team. I think they are going to turn things around. I do like Kenny Pickett. Head coach, you want Kellen Moore for your head coach?
I would like Kellen Moore.
What about Dan Quinn? If
we talked about this.
Yeah,
we talked about
if
this.
You're picking the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, why did you go over the guy who's still on the roster for the guy who didn't even get a single head coaching interview after getting fired?
It was the question itself. So those two people I was thinking, but I totally dismissed that we did have that conversation. Yes, out of the three, you give me Dan Quinn. You give me Dan Quinn.
Yeah. I'd love Mike McCarthy as my offensive coordinator over Kellen Moore. Well, maybe. I'd at least look at them and compare things and think about it. It's a conversation worth having.
So I get what you're saying, and me killing myself, that is what it is. But this is my point when I say ball control allows you a chance to win every time. Because you're giving the other offense a limited time with the ball.
I hear you. Do you think the Cowboys have an offense that can sustain that this year?
No, we need another receiver. I mean, that's to be honest with you, if you ask me, and I'm just going to be real, because apparently right now, from the reports I've read, they're not making any progress on Dalton Schultz. Defensively, they're not making any progress on re-signing Leighton Vander Esch. They're not making any progress on signing Wilson, right? So not only are you losing some of that oomph on defense that you had with those guys, because freaking Leighton Vander Esch, because it's funny, one of the knocks on him whenever he first got drafted, and one of the knocks on him that I have even till this day, is that he doesn't have a lot of pop when he tackles. If you watch him when he tackles, I'm not going to say he arm tackles, but he drags a lot of people down.
Yeah.
But he's big, and Leighton Vander Esch is a large man.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean?
I like him a lot.
Yeah, he could get away with that.
Yeah.
His instincts is one of the big things. His instincts, freaking, and when we drafted him, I wasn't a fan. But to be honest with you, Leighton Vander Esch doesn't need to have that, Ray Lewis come through the hole and freaking wreck your shit. Leighton Vander Esch will just freaking he'll read the play, run you down to the outside at like the middle linebacker's position whenever he was there, and run you down to the sideline and drag you down for only a 1 yard gain. Like that's beautiful.
Well, I'd argue that in the modern NFL, you can't have that Ray Lewis type of linebacker anymore.
No, you can't.
Bobby Wagner's probably the closest thing in the league right now, and even then, you're not allowed to drill a quarterback like you used to. You're not allowed to lay people out the way that you used to. So Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas' style of play doesn't work in the NFL anymore. They're such an offensive friendly league. A hard hit is enough to get a personal foul.
Exactly.
Even if you do it with your head in the right place and everything else, if the pop is loud enough, they love throwing that flag.
It goes up. No, but
so what you're telling me is the Cowboys aren't retaining players that you would like for them to retain. How does that make you feel about their season next season?
It's not going to happen, but this is my point of saying all this, because Leighton Vander Esch actually got limited snaps all last year. Because we had the depth. We had the depth. Leighton Vander Esch is injury prone. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so he didn't play as often as at least I would like to see him on the field. But we did have the depth, and those guys played well, which is wonderful. But the thing is, I'm saying all that to say this. We need, I'm going to say it. People are like, we just need one more. No, we need 2 more decent pass catchers. I don't care where they come from. If it's a tight end, I don't care if it's a wide receiver. Heck, I don't care if it's some gimmick guy that you freaking draft from, I don't know, freaking North Dakota State that is a running back that the only thing you ever use him for is to bring him in for screen passes. If he can catch the rock and move that ball 20 yards downfield, we need him. And I think that was like our biggest problem last year. The Cowboys did not do enough to replace the hole that we had when we got rid of Amari Cooper.
Oh, well, first of all, I don't even understand why you got rid of Amari Cooper, but no, I agree with you. They absolutely did not do enough. They plugged it pretty well with who'd you bring in at the end of the year?
Ty Hilton.
T.Y.
T.Y.
Hilton.
Hilton.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, that was a good plug, but
It was a little too late.
It was a little too late, not quite good enough. A year or two ago, I would have loved him a little bit more.
With you,
so here's what I want to ask you, though. So how are you feeling about the mullet bet then?
The mullet bet. Hey, I'm still with it. We still in this thing. NFC Championship, baby.
So if
Cowboys.
Here's the bet. If the Cowboys make it to the NFC Championship, I have to grow a mullet. If the Cowboys don't make it to the NFC Championship, then Darnell has to grow the Texas mullet.
I mean, you see,
I'm still, the hair's still growing.
I haven't since we made this bet, I haven't cut my hair just because I'm like, if I lose, I am gonna have to cut it by next NFC Championship.
same.
But somewhere in my head, I'm thinking like, yeah, if I lose this bet, not that I think I will, but if I lose this bet, I just want to get it over with and just have the mullet right away. Like,
you can just
do it.
just
Be
cut
done with
it.
it. Yeah.
Because the deal is you have to have the mullet for a week, 1 week,
At least a week.
So yeah, I can just have the mullet already, fucking ride it out for a week, and then then cut it off.
No, I'm still feeling good about it because I think because let's be fair, the Cowboys never really make a splash in free agency, so I never hold my breath on that.
I mean,
Yeah, they also never make it to the NFC Championship game. Like you don't see a correlation between. I'm not trying to rag on them for that, but you don't see a correlation between these things. Maybe these things that you never do, you should start doing.
Yeah, exactly.
They really
These
try.
teams that do make splashes in free agency,
They really try to do build through the
that's where
draft.
they've ended up.
But have you seen the wide receiver class coming in though?
It's a good receiving class.
The wide receiver class coming in, like there's dudes in like smaller schools who are just balling out of freaking stinking control.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, that's because they can get paid now. So now that
Yeah,
schools are paying, and so these players are scattering all over the place
Yeah.
instead of all just going to like big name programs like
We're
Alabama,
all going to
USC. Like,
LSU,
yeah, exactly.
We're all going to UCLA. We're all going to USC. Yeah.
exactly. They're spreading
Spreading
now,
out.
which I think is a good thing for competition for
it
the
is.
NCAA.
It is. But I mean, they got some guys this year coming in that wide receiver class. So I mean, we're I don't even know our draft order. We'd be like 20 something.
You
in the
guys
draft order?
are. I actually pulled it up because I wanted to be ready for that very question, which is that the Dallas Cowboys are 27th.
So
Yeah, at 27, because your first like 10 picks, you got guys getting edge rushers, linebackers, quarterbacks, stuff like that. So that's the first 10 picks, and then after that, you got 17. You said
27.
27, yeah. You got 17 picks until then, because then there's going to be more edge rushers, offensive linemen. You know what I mean? By the time we get down, there probably would be 4, maybe 5 wide receivers off the board.
Yeah.
You're going to have a whole deep section of wide receivers. Now, will the Cowboys go wide receiver in the first round?
That's one of the questions I had for you is what should the Cowboys address in this draft?
Well, it sucks to say this because this is usually what they do in the first place. Defense in the first round, because if we don't keep these players that we're having trouble re-signing, I mean that's where you have to go. I don't think we need another edge rusher, but the Cowboys are notorious for doing that. Like whenever they fucking drafted Taco Charlton whenever I thought we didn't need him. Not that I don't like the guy. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But it's just, and I don't even think he was a first round draft pick, was he? Taco Charlton?
I'm looking at this is weird. So I guess they got you guys trading with the Bills for some reason on this mock draft. Because they've got the Bills picking 27 and the Cowboys picking 26. I don't know why they would trade up just one pick, especially when these guys are going opposite positions. But they got you guys going cornerback on this mock draft.
Huh. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
We usually don't give up too much to move up.
You never know, but all these mock drafts are so goofy to me. Like I almost never read them. But because we're talking about it, I'll take a look at a few people here. This one has you guys going Jackson Smith, Najiba, wide receiver.
Taco Charlton was first round. He was a first round draft pick.
Right.
We saw that turned out.
Maybe the list I have is wrong. Maybe because this one also has you at 26.
26?
Yeah, how come Tankathon has you guys at 27?
It probably was a typo.
Must be. Yeah, they've got the Giants at 26 and you guys at 27. But then all these mock drafts have you guys at... Okay, so Tankathon, fix your shit. Unless CBS and everyone else is wrong, which I kind of doubt it. How disappointing. Tankathon's my go-to website for figuring out draft order. So these guys let me down.
Yeah, they did you dirty, brother.
I know, and I'm always talking them up on the podcast too. I'm always like throughout the season. I mean, I started this thing late into the season, but when I was talking draft order, I would go, "Hey, check out Tankathon." Now I'm telling you, hey, Tankathon, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Hey, still.
We'll check out
You guys made
Tankathon.
me sound stupid.
Wait, how close is the 6 to the 7? On like a normal computer. Where's your other keyboard?
What are you talking?
Your other keyboard.
Oh,
How close is the 6?
On my laptop?
No. You're the. How close is the 6 to the 7?
Oh, they're opposites.
Oh, dang. So I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not a typo.
No, I mean, it's a list 1 through 27. You can't.
You can't fuck that
You
up.
can't
Yeah.
like no. They just somehow they mess somebody up. Oh, maybe. Oh, because they have. That's why the Dolphins at 21. They have a forfeited draft pick.
Okay.
Okay, Tankathon. I see what you did.
Okay. We see what you did there.
You guys should have just had it go 20 to 20 then, though,
Yeah.
because the Cowboys aren't picking 27th; they're picking
picking
26th. But there's one less pick in the draft overall because the Cowboys are being punished for trying to get Tom Brady out on that boat.
Well, the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say- who did I
You
say?
said Cowboys.
Oh yeah, the Dolphins are being
I was like,
punished.
wait, think Jerry Jones at it again?
No, Jerry. I was about to make a joke.
Jerry, no. Oh, I think I know where you're going, man. I think I know where you're going.
I'd have to say the word allegedly. I'd have to say,
same. Same.
I'm trying to not get a
Hey, but
defamation lawsuit.
But instead, he just rolls up in his huge yacht into the sound.
Did you hear about the?
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Apparently so. Like a few.
Oh, he was right here.
Well, this was like a while ago. Jerry Jones had pulled up in his yacht. I'm not sure if it was in the port right there in Seattle or if it was in Tacoma, but yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Summertime, I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. No,
I
this
don't
was like last year or maybe even the year before, but it was a while ago.
I don't imagine he'd want to be here in the wintertime. It's a bit cold.
He's used to that West Texas weather.
Yeah. So I've been following this lawsuit between Brett Favre and Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharp, and I'm very. It definitely has my attention. I'm very intrigued by it. Now, in order for me to talk about this, I have to throw around words like allegedly. I have to be careful about what I'm going to say about Brett Favre. I do want to say though, dude, what we need to do to get our podcast some more hype, we need to have beef with somebody. We need to start some shit with another podcast.
Hey, beef builds followers.
I know, right? Like we need to find someone around our level so that lower range podcast.
And some people like, did you hear what they were talking about yesterday? Yeah. And then call all the stats that they were wrong on.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, maybe we can start some shit with like the Island Boys or somebody. I don't know, but I gotta find somebody, some low hanging fruit. Because I want to win, I got to pick somebody that will win.
Yeah, you got to get a soup can first, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, kill the soup can, and then after that,
It's Jake Paul, right? You got to work your way up. First, you fight the old retired celebrities, and then you kind of work your way.
Even with
the loss now, later on, he still could seen as a viable boxer. We could be in that level.
Exactly. No, I'm okay with us getting our ass kicked by like Pat McAfee or somebody.
But for now,
a real podcaster. I'm good with it. The Paul brothers. Those are real podcasters.
Yeah.
I'm fine with them kicking our ass as long as we're in the conversation. And then people, out of curiosity, start to go, oh, "Who the fuck's Vets and Beer? Who is this?" And they click through and they go, "Oh."
Maybe I need to start advertising us on my IG page as well.
That help, yeah.
Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, why not, right?
Well, hey, look, I'm in favor of anybody who. Hey, here's to anybody who's ever shared the Vets and Beer podcast. Here's to you.
Here is to you.
Finish that one off. Anyways, I want to talk this Brett Favre thing because I find it interesting. On the one side, I'm actually on Brett's side. And hear me out on this. I saw your face when I said that.
Hear me out.
Hear me out. So, according to a CNN article I have in front of me, Brett Favre was supposed to go and promote a health facility, a bunch of different facilities that were building on the Southern Mississippi campus. Okay. Southern Mississippi University, I think it's called. So they were supposed to build a new tennis court. His daughter plays tennis. They were supposed to build a whole bunch of things. Brett was going to go and promote it. The people he was working with in the Mississippi Department of Human Services gave him $1.1 million to make a radio appearance. Brett never shows up. Supposedly, at first, allegedly had pocketed that money. They kept asking for it back. Brett eventually gives the money back because he gave them $500K, and then several months later, he gave them $600K. That equals 1.1. Yeah. That's $1.1 million, right? This is all per a CNN article. This is not coming from me. I just want to be very clear about this. Yeah. So Brett gave the money back because basically the reason that Mississippi was asking for the money back is because they were actually taking it from a welfare program. They weren't supposed to give him that money in the first place. So the state auditor of Mississippi fucked up.
Yeah.
And he gave money to Brett. He wasn't supposed to give to Brett.
Money, yeah.
And then Brett gave the money back. Well, now Mississippi is still suing him because they want, they say he still owes $228,000 in interest. They want interest
Of
for...
course, Mississippi wants freaking
Now-
interest.
This is where I'm on Brett's side because I'm kind of like, well, no, you guys paid me for a service. I didn't provide that service, so I gave you the money back.
Yeah.
To me, that's fair. If I pay for something from Amazon, Amazon never sends it to me, but then they give me my money back, that's even. That's fair game, right? So in that sense, I'm on Brett's side. Now where Brett and I split up on this is once he starts coming after Pat McAfee and starts coming after Shannon Sharp, he's coming after these others for defamation just because they uttered his name, essentially. They did use the term allegedly as they were talking about him. And they were just reiterating stories that were already being told about him. They were contributing to the sports media world. I don't see the wisdom of Brett going after them. I think it would have been better if he just confronted them face to face.
Yeah, and that's kind of wrong because let's be fair. Let's be fair. Brett Favre doesn't necessarily have a reputation as being a nice guy. Apparently, he's kind of an a-hole. You know what I mean? Allegedly.
Throwing the word allegedly.
Allegedly.
You trying to get sued? I mean,
You know,
we don't have Pat McAfee money, dude. We don't have Shannon Sharp money.
Even Pat McAfee was like, "Hey, we'll see how it goes in court." I
know. I was so excited. But like, I was watching that the other day. Actually, first of all, he handled it like a champ.
No, yeah, that was
and the other day I was watching it. I was watching his follow up to it, and he's like, "Yeah, well, I guess Brett's lawyers told me they're going to bankrupt me."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, I've been broke before,
Yeah,
so
he's like, hey,
you know."
But so allegedly
He's an asshole.
allegedly he's an a-hole. And also, too, you go back to whenever he was being accused of taking, allegedly taking the pain medication or whatever, like, excessively.
Yeah.
And then he actually came out and said, which was commendable of him, like,
He was addicted to the pain.
Yeah. Substance abuse
that's not
is
alleged. He admitted to that.
well, yeah. Substance abuse
we can talk about
is a
that.
serious thing, and he handled that well. He took care of himself. So
We can talk about that. We can talk about him sending a dick pic to a woman that wasn't his wife.
Yeah,
because that's all proven. That's not. No,
I'm just
that's
saying-
all. That all happened.
my whole point is that allegedly he doesn't have a good track record. So
Sure.
I feel like everybody has a right to advocate for themselves, and this is what he's doing. But as you said, I wouldn't do it this way.
No, why not just like, I'm sure that Shannon Sharp has a podcast. I'm sure he would love to have Brett on. Or maybe he only has black people on his podcast, actually. Now I'm thinking about it.
the record shows. I think so. If you look,
I think it's because I think that's his whole thing. He wants to promote the black brands and
community,
black.
yeah, exactly.
So okay, but I'm sure Undisputed would have him on. Then
yeah.
I'm sure that they would welcome him on. And then Pat McAfee has said that he would welcome
Come on,
Brett
yeah.
on.
Let's have the
you know?
conversation.
So by the way, I don't know that for sure about Shannon Sharp's podcast. So don't.
It was
Shannon. I don't
It was
know.
it was a slight joke because I think he may have had Travis Kelce, but let's be honest, Travis Kelce might as well be black.
You can say stuff like that. I can't.
That's why this world shouldn't be so soft. We should be able to joke about these things. If you could joke about normal life, you know what I mean? Like people joke about the fact that, New York has probably per capita the most rats out of any state in the entire United States.
Yeah.
And there's even that video. I'm not even sure if it was even New York, but there's that video of that rat washing himself with soap. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking that up right after.
Yeah,
we're done
he's
here.
like sitting there and he's like, and I'm not even sure what took place, but it's just every time I see that, it makes me think about New York. But like, you never see a New Yorkan or a rat from New York getting all bent because people make jokes about, rats, so many rats being in New York. You know what I mean?
I was listening
they know
to.
where they're at.
I don't know if do you ever listen to the Howard Stern show?
You know what? I haven't in a long while. I used to all the time whenever when I was younger because of the crazy shit that used to go on there.
Yeah. They still got some good stuff here and there. But I was listening to the Howard Stern show, and one of his employees, because they all live in New York on that show, and one of his employees was talking about the rat infestation in his building, and this was during COVID. And he was complaining about how his building manager wasn't doing anything about the rats, and they didn't have a solution. He's like, "There's these giant fucking rats that are in my walls," and he's like, "I can't sleep because I'm hearing them running back and forth all night." Like, which sounds disgusting to me.
My grandmother,
Whenever she lived in Louisiana, there's this housing. What was like a senior living housing project that she lived in. Like the whole area actually, like because even like the next 2 blocks over was a bunch of project housing, and whenever I used to stay the night over there, I'd be sleeping on a pallet that she would make for me on the floor or on the couch, and I would like where her. And mind you, this is in Louisiana, not New York, but where her AC/heater unit was on the wall, I would hear the rats running from like the end of the room, like over there, and then going back, and then going over there, and going back, and then that place was roach infested too. So like, it was just terrible. Like they would have the Orca Man show up like every 3 months or whatever. They show up or whatever, and that place still had an issue. And I'm like, is this even working? Like, what's going on? I remember that shit when I was little, man. I used to be scared to drink out of cups of water at her house simply for that fact.
To this day, other than beer is the only thing I drink straight out of the can, generally speaking, if I can avoid it whatsoever. Because I remember when I was a little kid, I brought my dad a can of soda, and I also with a glass of ice, and I set the can in the glass of ice, and he was like, why would you, like, go get me a new glass of ice? I'm not drinking that. I was like, why? And he's like, you know how many rats run over, like, cans? They're just sitting in a factory somewhere all the time. And I was like,
he's not wrong.
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
And from then on, anytime I have a soda, I always get myself a glass of ice and I pour the soda into the ice. The only thing I don't do it with is beer, because you know how much of a like wuss you look like if you're drinking beer. Like you have to drink it out of a cup every damn time.
So I'm going to tell you a story, and this is...
And also beer I feel like it sanitizes itself, you know?
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Yeah, of course.
The alcohol cleans it off as you're going down, so you're good to go.
That's funny. I like
Beer's good for you, people.
It is good, yeah. But and it's kind of an embarrassing story, but I'm going to tell it. You guys have heard it.
Good. That's the content we need.
You guys have heard it here first, folks. So we were coming back from a trip from Louisiana, and we lived in New Mexico. So I think it was like a 16, 17-hour drive because you got to go across Texas, and Texas is a massive fucking state, all flat. So the drive time through Texas is what really did it. We got back home, and I'd slept probably like the last 3-4 hours of the trip. So I'm waking up, and I'm like really thirsty, right? And mind you, it's my mom. She did the driving. My older brother, my twin brother, and my sister. I wake up, and I'm super thirsty. There is a sun-kissed can in the back of, because my mom had a Mark III Chevy van. It was huge. In the very back on the bench seat. If you're sitting down to the right of you, there's 2 cup holders. There was a sun-kissed orange soda sitting there. I'm thirsty as hell. I just woke up. I pick it up, drink it. It was piss. My older brother had peed in the can.
I saw that coming. No, you're like, there was a can right there. It was a sun-kissed can. I was like, okay, someone peed.
Yeah, someone peed in me. Yeah, and I was like...
I'm like, it's either pee or it was a dip cup.
Yeah,
like,
I was like...
Just yacked everywhere. And so I was like, dude, never again will I pick up a random can to drink out of it.
How old were you when this happened?
I was probably around 10. When did my parents divorce? I was probably just over 10, like maybe between 10 and 12.
Yeah. What's your instant reaction when you realized that you just drank piss?
Like first of all, I was disgusted. And then second of all, I instantly just yacked.
So how did while you were asleep and your mom was driving, and while you're asleep, your brother pisses in a can in the car?
In the car, exactly.
Yeah, in the car.
Huh.
Yeah.
Your mom has a stronger stomach than my mom. I think my mom would have pulled the car over, beat the shit out of me.
Hey, shout out to
Joyce Marie, she's a thug.
Yeah, good for her. My mom would have kicked my ass if I peed in her car.
No, my mom was a whole ass thug. She didn't care because it probably was on like the last leg of the trip, and my mom probably told my older brother like, "I'm not stopping." So you figure it out. You know what I mean? I gave you a chance the last stop to pee, and you didn't want to pee, so
that's on him. I mean,
yeah. So
he figured it out. He downed that sun-kiss, peed in it, and then I drank it. So
I've had 2 situations where I had to pee in a vehicle that didn't have a bathroom. So not like a bus that has a bathroom type of thing. Like once was high school cross country trip. We were coming back from a meet, and I had to pee really bad. And so I had this Gatorade bottle that was half full, and I went, okay, I'm going to drink the rest of this, and now I got a cup, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, buddy, look out, because it's a boy and girl team. Like there's boys and girls on this bus, so I got to make sure.
Yeah, you're not trying to get in trouble for a decent experience.
Exactly. Like I'm not trying to, So I'm like, hey, look out. So then I pee in the Gatorade cup, and then when I'm done, I look at it. I'm like, this just looks like yellow, like Gatorade. Like I had evil thoughts of what I could do with this. I didn't do any of them, but I had some evil.
Almost like offering your friend yellow snow.
Yeah. There's that, and then there was a different time. This is embarrassing. I was in Japan. I was driving to my girlfriend's, and I was stuck in traffic, and I had to pee so fucking bad, but there was nowhere to pull off. There was nowhere to stop. I had no choice, and I just had to go. And I've got a McDonald's cup next to me, and so I go to try to pee in the McDonald's cup, but the way the seat is angled and the way that like your penis is, you can't.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
I can't like loop my penis into the cup, and there's no.
Because even if you get the cup at the right angle, it's gonna like straight shoot to the, and so you run the like splatter effect.
Pretty much that's what happened.
Yeah,
I tried to pee in the cup. Mostly missed, and pretty much pissed all over myself in Japan. Horribly embarrassing. I've actually never told anybody that story. I didn't even tell her. As soon as I got to her place, I went straight to the shower. Yeah, she had no idea. I was just like, oh, it was just a gross trip. Like I just got off work. I'm sweaty. Like I don't, honey, I got to shower first. Like, I didn't even. This is the first time I've ever told anyone that story.
This is.
Brett, we've got piss stories today on Vets and Beer.
Yeah, well, here's another one, and I'm gonna leave it dead after this, but.
So I was lucky enough to always not have to poop whenever we did UAs in the military. Mm-hmm. Because I'm a simultaneous poop and peer. Like I can't help it. Like if I got a shit, piss is happening at the same time. And so if I have to poop, I can't pee. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So there's this NCO. Shout out to, I'm gonna just say Ray. He knows who he is. Who used to always like get right up behind you while you were using the restroom. He'd be say shit like, "Don't make it weird," right? While he's meat gazing.
Yeah.
Oh, let me actually backtrack. By that I mean while he was observing the UA. Anyway, he would just like make jokes and stuff, and it was pretty funny. I mean, to be honest with you, for me, it made me more relaxed. The fact that he was able to joke about it.
Yeah. It's awkward for everybody.
The
best you can do is make it funny.
Make it funny, exactly, yeah.
But one day, I was like, hey, sorry, because we were going to the bathroom. I had my cup up and everything, and I was like, hey, I got to take a shit. And he was like, what does that mean? You're still peeing the cup? And I was like, yeah, but I'm a simultaneous pooper and peer. I can't do one without the other when I have to poop. And he was like, are you freaking kidding me? And like, that's the first time that I think I had him like in a bind, you know what I mean? Like, he was just sitting there like this in front of the stall, and I'm sitting there pooping, and I had to like, position myself to do the thing, and so I start peeing, but then the cup starts filling up, and so I have to like try to get my member back into the toilet, and then it just sprays everywhere.
Oh no!
I felt so bad because he's just like, oh, and he slams the door closed and everything. And I was like, I'm sorry.
But by far, that is the worst part. Yeah, I'm going to go and say, I think that's the worst part of getting promoted to sergeant. Once you're a sergeant, you're eligible to be an observer for urinalysis tests in the Army. Which means you see a lot of men's penises once you make sergeant in the Army, and it's
you see a whole lot of that.
Yeah,
you'll be probably everyone in your unit. You probably seen.
Pick them out of a lineup.
Yeah. Oh, I know who that is. That's Davis.
Still see them when I close my eyes at night. The horrors. That's 90% of my VA claim. It's just all the dicks. All the dicks I saw.
Oh my God.
Big ones, little ones.
Yeah, people think that you have
PTSD and you have night terrors about, wars that you've been in. Nope. It's all them dicks you saw.
Post-traumatic stress from dicks. That's that PTSD.
That's fucking great. That's great.
All right, while we're talking about dicks, let's talk about Russell Wilson.
Okay. Oh,
I'm just kidding, Russ. I'm not calling you a dick.
I actually saw what you posted, and I think that the way you orchestrated that was perfect.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, Mm-hmm.
I wanted to give you a chance to respond to it because I did include your clip to open up that.
No,
and so
you did.
Because I will say, and big up to Russ. You know what I'm saying? I don't dislike you, man. I think you're a wonderful person. I really do.
Yeah.
But I do feel like after watching that I was a little, I'm not gonna say unfair, just a little harsh on him with some of the things that I said. And what I mean by that is like he is good people. I mean his fallout or whatever happened in the Seattle organization, it was what it was, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was what it was, and he did what he thought was best for him. That doesn't make him an asshole.
No.
But I still maintain that you don't put yourself above the team.
I don't disagree with that. I didn't disagree with what you said when you said it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't disagree with it then. I don't disagree with what you're saying now. I just feel like there's two different ways to look at every football player. We should look at them in two. They have two different things. They have them as a football player. They have them as a person.
Exactly.
Those are two different things. There's the business side and the non-business side. I watch Shark Tank a lot. I love Shark Tank.
Yeah.
The middle guy, Mr. Wonderful, they call Kevin O'Leary is his real name. Him as a businessman is a very harsh, strict, kind of, you could say he's an asshole. A lot of people like to refer to him as, oh, he's such a dick, he's this, he's that. I feel like that's the business side of him. Yeah. The personal side of him that I've seen in other interviews, and he's a very charitable man. He gives money away to people all the time. He's, by all indications, actually a good man. There's a business and there's a person, and those are two different things. And with Russ, I think it's no different. Now, if Russ really did go to Jody Allen and say, hey, fire Pete Carroll, fire John Schneider, bring in Sean Payton. On the business side, I'd say that's a dick move.
It is a dick move.
It's like the guy who chose you over. If you remember, let's go back. The Seahawks brought in Matt Flynn and gave him a big contract because he was going to be the Seahawks starter. That was the plan. In the third round, they had a chance at Russell Wilson to back up Matt Flynn. That was the plan. They drafted him. Then Pete Carroll goes, no, I believe in this kid. He's the starter. Everyone else says, no, he's too short, he's too this, he's too that. He says, no, this is our starter. Pete Carroll gave Russ everything to then go, and once again, this is assuming that story is true, to then go and say that, hey, you should fire Pete Carroll and try and get that man fired, as well as the man who drafted you in John Schneider. That's a bad business decision on my part. I don't like the business side of that. I don't like the humanity in the business of that. In the other box, of course, is all of Russ's charity, which is that Russ did so many wonderful things for the Seattle community, for the Seattle Children's Hospital. Like I explained in the other video, I actually have a personal connection to one of the nice things that Russ did or was attempting to do and everything else. So I don't want to give him too much shit as a human being. But on the business side, to try and get Pete Carroll and John Schneider fired, Pete Carroll, who should have a statue in Seattle, in my opinion.
I don't disagree with
you have Ken Griffey Jr. right in front of the Mariners Park. I think in front of the Seahawks Stadium, there should be Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
I don't like if Russ did it, I don't like it. That's to sum up.
Or you could put a
Marshawn Lynch statue with a bottle of Hennessy in his hand and a bag of Skittles in the other hand.
with a quote, "I'm just here so I don't get fined."
You know what, like.
Bro, I love Marshawn. I'm such a Marshawn fan.
He's just such.
One of the jerseys I have is a Marshawn jersey.
Down to earth dude. Like
he's him. He's him. Unapologetically
himself.
Yeah.
I love it.
And that's the thing. Whether he was a hood dude or whether if he grew up, you know what I mean. Like Marshawn Lynch being him.
Yeah.
And nothing else. I love it. I'm here for it.
Oh, it's the best.
I am here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, fine. Make a statue where it's Pete Carroll and Marshawn Lynch standing there together.
Yeah, he's still holding the bottle of Hennessy in one hand and the Skittles in the other hand.
I agree with that. I mean,
no, but that dude, I forget who they were playing, but I remember he had this rumble tumble run.
You're talking about the Beastquake, against the Saints in the playoffs.
Maybe it was, whereas they were like on like the 2 or something like that, and he gets the handoff. And then he breaks like 2 tackles, hits the sideline, stumbles over another tackle, gets a block, stumbles.
He did it twice. He did it once against the Saints and once against the Cardinals. So there's the Beastquake and the Beastquake 2.0, as they're referred.
Maybe it was the one against the Cardinals because that dude.
Because the one against the Saints was when the Seahawks barely made the playoffs with a record of 7-9. They won the division. Yeah. The Saints were the defending Super Bowl champions, had to come to Seattle because Seattle was a division winner technically. Was a lot of controversy that year. I still think they should change the rule, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Better record should get home field.
Home field, yeah.
But that was the game where, Marshawn breaks off this huge run, tumbles in the end zone, grabs his crotch as he dives into the end zone.
Sorry, guys. Apologize.
No worries. I'll edit that. But dives in the end zone, grabs his crotch. Fucking awesome. Historic moment in Seattle. The decibel level reached like the highest it had ever reached in a football game to that point. Kansas City's broke that record since then. But Seattle had the record for a while there. Marshawn was great.
Yeah.
God, I miss Marshawn Lynch. He was so awesome. Prime Marshawn Lynch. He was the best. Got a few more things I want to get to, but we're up against now. We're past an hour already.
Oh, dang.
So let's go ahead and get to the XFL picks. All right. So we're gonna talk XFL. Every Monday, I'm planning on posting power rankings. This last Monday, I posted power rankings for the XFL. Only 2 teams moved. It was my number 5 moved up to number 4. My number 4 moved back to number 5. As we get more games and more data, the list will become more solid. But my list is pretty fucking solid considering the fact that the bottom 3 teams lost last week. And the only reason the number 5 team won is because they were playing the number 8 team. The number 1 and number 4 teams played each other, so my top 3 all won, and then number 4 lost. My list is pretty fucking good when you look at it from that standpoint. All right, so the first game that's going on tomorrow is the Seattle Sea Dragons versus the Vegas Vipers. Seattle's favored by 3.5 points. I hate to pick against Seattle, but the Vipers are starting Brett Hundley. He got to play in the end of the last game for Vegas. You've got an NFL quality quarterback. He played several NFL games.
Yeah, he has some starting time in the NFL, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a bunch for Green Bay, then a few other teams. I got to go with the Vipers. I'm not such a huge fan of what I've seen out of the Sea Dragons so far. They're good through 3 quarters and they like to choke in the fourth.
That's the thing. At least from what I've seen, like I told you before, so I'm gonna try to keep this honest. It doesn't like I've been following the XFL hella close, but from what I've seen. The Sea Dragons themselves kind of, I wouldn't say shoot themselves in the foot, but it's almost like you kind of have an unmotivated team. They're good. They're not bad. It's like, where's that oomph? Like, where's that fire?
For me, it all comes back to Jim Haslett, the head coach of the Sea Dragons. He's a shell of what he used to be.
Because Jim Haslett used to be very intense.
He used to be fired up. He used to be intense. When he was the Saints head coach, he was a motivated guy. Mm-hmm. In his age at this point, he's just lost it. He's 67 years old, 4 years younger than Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's still got a lot of energy. They
still got to pull him back from the field.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw him at the combine running sprints. I mean, I can't even do that right now. Like
I can't do that right now.
Fuck, man, we got to get on Pete Carroll level.
Yeah, we do got to get on Pete Carroll level. I bet you he wakes up every morning and runs 3 miles.
Probably.
I bet you $5.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
No, I don't even want to take the bet because it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jim Haslett, I just don't see any motivation from him. I don't hear him fired up. I don't believe in the Sea Dragons, so I got Vegas Vipers. Who are you going with, Darnell?
You know what? I'm gonna have to side with you, brother. In order for me to believe in this Seattle Sea Dragons team, I'm just gonna have to see just that. It's just a motivation thing. They don't have a bad team.
No, they have Josh Gordon on the team.
Yeah.
But he's underutilized. Their running backs are averaging 5 yards a carry. There's no reason not to be running the ball more, but they only had like 15 carries in the last game. Yeah. So once again, it all comes back to the head coach. He's not utilizing the team the right way.
Yeah. So
I will go with the Vegas Vipers. I mean, they're just I wouldn't even say more put together team because actually I think on paper they're not as good as the Seattle Viper. The Seattle Sea Dragons.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. But the way that they're playing right now, I mean, even them being at your number 7, they beat.
They're my number 7, and on the power rankings on Monday's episode, I did give the little asterisk, I guess we could call it, because I said that. First of all, Seattle and Vegas are playing each other, so the number 6 and number 7 are playing each other. Winners, I'm probably gonna have to put them at number 6.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of hard to argue that the winner would be worse than whoever. And I think that Vegas took a big step by bringing in Brett Hundley, and this last week getting him a little bit of play time. Vegas could actually climb up the rankings over the next bunch of weeks. So There I am protecting my power rankings. All right, so Sunday, 10 a.m. on FX or ESPN Plus, wherever you want to watch. The Battlehawks, St. Louis Battlehawks, take on the DC Defenders. DC's favored by 2.5. I was thinking about this game last night and this morning. I keep going back and forth. The Battlehawks have A.J. McCarron as their quarterback. He is, I think, the best quarterback in the XFL.
I was about to say that. I was about to go straight to this. Yeah,
he's so accurate, so great. My problem with the Battlehawks, I felt this way about the Vikings in the NFL this last year. Mm-hmm. I don't love teams that it's always a drama-filled ending where they're dramatically coming back. Because I think once you take on better quality teams, you don't get those opportunities. You're not going to get that. Yeah. DC Defenders, this Greg Williams defense that they have is good. Mm-hmm. The best, I would say that's the best in the XFL. I'm going with DC for this one. I think it'll be close. But I think that the DC defense will ultimately win this game.
So, just like you did me whenever I picked the what did I say?
You said the Eagles.
The Eagles over the KC. Regardless of that defense, A.J. McCarron. This is the reason why the Battlehawks win. It's gonna happen.
Okay, you're making a huge mistake here when you're comparing A.J. What A.J. McCarron means to a team. You're saying that's the same thing that Patrick Mahomes means to a team.
No, but I mean, we also have to understand that this. Believe it or not, folks, though it's pro football, it's a lesser league than the top dog.
I'm not disagreeing. You know what I mean?
So, I feel like A.J. McCarron being on that team gives them a chance to win every single time. Every single time they touch that field, he because they have him, gives them a chance to win, and I think they win this game because of that.
I don't disagree that he keeps them in every single game. I don't disagree. Like I said, I think he is the best quarterback in the XFL. He doesn't mean to them what Patrick Mahomes means to the Chiefs.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Those aren't comparable situations.
I mean, I get it. It may be a little far fetched, but I'm just saying. Like, I think the Battlehawks are eventually going to get their stuff together.
Yeah. And this is another one where on my power rankings, it's number 2 versus number 3. So winner probably is number 2.
Number 2, yeah.
Regardless of who that is.
And don't get it twisted. DC, great team as far as the XFL is concerned.
Their defense. I don't love their offense. Their offense, it's good enough that they can play complementary with their defense, and they can get these wins.
But their defense is the one that wins the games.
Their defense wins the games for them.
Yeah.
And it's a Greg Williams team. I'm actually surprised I said this a couple weeks ago, I wish Greg Williams was the head coach for the Sea Dragons. I wish that we would have got rid of. We should fire Jim Haslett right now. And I don't think in midseason you can pull a guy, but
yeah, I know. It'll help with that intensity level.
Absolutely would. I don't know how Greg Williams is a coordinator in the XFL, and then some of these other guys that are head coaches. I don't want to call anyone out by name because some of them I do like, but I don't love that Greg Williams is a coordinator in the XFL. He should be a head coach. Yeah. And if I'm choosing who's going to be a head coach of the Sea Dragons, Jim Haslett or Greg Williams, how the fuck do you overlook Greg Williams? I don't understand what I don't know who owns the Sea Dragons. I'm not that deep into the XFL, but whoever it is, what was that decision process?
But you know what? That's a testament to the name. You hear Jim Haslett, and you have a certain idea because of
of his credentials. Yeah. His credentials from 2007.
Yeah, it's early. Yeah, it's old. It was almost 20 years old now.
I looked it up for an episode a while ago. Yeah, I feel like it was
And then he started doing cameos in football movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he started doing cameos in football movies, and then he did have a USFL or USF team, I think. So he had another football league team that was similar to the XFL type thing. Mm-hmm. They went undefeated all the way to the championship, I think, and then lost the game. Mm-hmm. This is when I was Googling, doing research on this guy. I found that out. I don't actually remember this. Mm-hmm. Other than that, there's not a lot to credential him with, as opposed to Greg Williams, who took over as the Browns, an NFL team, took over as their interim head coach, went 5-2, something like that, had a good record with them. The Browns organization, for whatever fucking reason, didn't want to make him the head coach, so they brought in Kevin Stefanski. And then Greg Williams just bounced around from a couple different teams. He does have an attitude problem because he's so aggressive. Mm-hmm. But Seattle fucking needs that.
Well, they do. And let's be real. I mean, it's football. People don't see on TV what actually happens on a football team. And yes, you are dealing with grown men. And so sometimes you have slight disagreements. But whenever you are in practice, especially in practice, apparently Jason Garrett, as much as I don't like him as a head coach, apparently he was fucking putting boot to ass in practice. Like he would, and I think that's what you need. Like it's football. It's a physical game.
Yeah,
it's a physical game. That's why I love Bill Parcells. You know what I mean? You have to have that level of intensity, that sense of urgency, and that bravado. You gotta walk around like you're fucking big dick swinging.
I don't disagree.
You know what I mean? So whenever, so I feel
Seattle
like
doesn't have that right now.
Exactly. So I feel like whenever it comes to coaching, you have to challenge that. Like you have to be in their face. Like, dude, hold on. I'm gonna play the audio because I think I may still have it. And this is not even NFL. This is a freaking stinking LFL coach. This is what I was telling you.
Oh yeah, we talked about this last episode. Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if you can edit this out if you want to, but.
You mean to tell me you gonna let that motherfucker mush you down now like that, and you ain't breaking that bitch's face right now? You mean to tell me you gonna allow that motherfucker to do what she done, and you didn't come out here and try to break her fucking neck, and even you can't find her teammate and break her fucking neck for what the fuck she done to you down there? You mean to tell me you ain't got that kind of evil streak in you? I would literally hike the ball and punch that bitch in the goddamn face. Are you crazy? Don't ever let anybody.
See, yeah. So, and that's what I'm saying.
Man, I want to fucking go.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And
That's what the coach is there for. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's there to teach you football IQ. You know what I mean? He's there to teach you the nuances of the game. That's what a coach is there. Because by the time you make it to the NFL, you've been playing football all your life.
Yeah.
For the most part, right?
Yeah.
So it isn't like you're not athletic. It isn't like you don't have the ability. It isn't like you know certain things. You know what I mean? But they're there to really guide you. And so like, I know that sound clip sounds pretty intense, but there's a reason for that banter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not getting on her ass to break her down. He's telling her like,
You're better than that.
You're better than that. Yeah, you're better than that. Like, get back on that field and fucking do some shit.
Well, that was like Tom Brady got some shit when the video cameras caught him yelling at his lineman on the sideline. Until, according to the Howard Stern show, what he actually said, what he was yelling at them is, "You're a lot fucking better than you're playing right now." And I'm like, no, that's a pretty good thing to yell at somebody.
Yeah.
You're gonna yell because in the Army I've yelled at people that way. Where I'm like, hey, you're fucking better than this.
That.
Get your shit together. Let's go. We got a job to do. You know. Whatever it was that I was yelling at people. It was shit like that. It wasn't ever, hey, you piece of shit. Fuck you,
fuck
dumbass.
You, dumbass.
Like,
I
was never doing shit like that.
Yeah, it was always to bring him up. And I think that's like whenever you, in any sport, I mean, even whenever I was, I was in football, there was this coach that coached at my high school. He's a black dude, Coach Wilson. And I was a freshman at the time, but I played down in the freshman on the C team. I played up JV. Mm-hmm. And this dude would lose his freaking stinking mind in practice whenever we weren't doing stuff right.
Yeah.
And that's all the only thing he preached all the time. He's like, the only thing I ask for you guys is to do everything right and bring intensity. He's like, the thing that pisses me off when you guys show up to practice, dragging butt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then things aren't getting done right because you guys aren't focused. He's like, that's the only two things that I ask from you guys. That's it.
Yeah.
If you pay attention and you know what you're doing and you bring intensity, we're good. So whenever you have that, because this dude would go crazy. He would wear like these little bitty like shorts, long socks, freaking.
It takes a tough man to wear little bitty shorts.
Dude, like this dude, like he wore these little bitty shorts, long socks, and he would wear what I call the Whispering Wind special, the white Nikes that you can get for almost any. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Look like you living in a nursing home. Shout out to Coach Wilson.
Let's circle back to XFL here. I'm excited that Sunday there's 3 XFL games, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5 p.m. The 1 p.m. game, also on FX and ESPN Plus. Is the Orlando Guardians versus the Arlington Renegades. Arlington's favored by 8 points. I think that's the biggest spread we've seen in the XFL so far this season, is 8 points. And it's an easy pick for me. Orlando can't do a damn thing right.
No.
They're the only team that's allowed 30 points a game for, like, no other team has allowed 30 points, and they've done it twice already. Until Orlando proves me that they can do anything right, I'm picking against them every week. And so
exactly, yeah.
the Renegades seem easy.
And the thing is, the shitty thing is, I mean, they could turn it around, but they're probably going to end up at the bottom at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you're already like there's other 0-2 teams that I would value as better. Mm-hmm. I mean, all the other 0-2 teams I value as better than the Orlando Guardians. Mm-hmm. The Sea Dragons have more hope. The Vipers have more hope. Both also 0-2. Not for long. They're playing each other this week. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the 5 p.m. game on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. Houston is favored by 4.5. It is the Houston Roughnecks, number 1 team in the league, versus the San Antonio Brahmas, head coached by Hines Ward, if you remember him, wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a bunch of years, won a Super Bowl. Or did he win 2 Super Bowls? He might have won 2 Super Bowls with them. Yeah.
Once against the Cardinals, and who was the other one?
The Cardinals, and then the Seahawks. Brahmas versus Roughnecks. Wade Phillips is awesome in the XFL. I'm loving what I'm hearing from this coach. Much older than Jim Haslett and has fucking fire and energy. And what I love about the XFL is you get the audio of what's going on with the coaches. You get the audio of what's going on in the reviews. You get the audio of the players. You're hearing everything going on. Wade Phillips is coaching these guys up all the way to the kneel down. Literally during the kneel down, he's yelling at his quarterback through the microphone, hey, make sure you're doing a slow kneel down, all right? I want this controlled. Do it right. Like, he's coaching all the way to the end of the fucking game. I love it. I like what I saw from the Brahmas a week ago. I think that they're gonna do well in this game, but I think the Roughnecks are the best team in the league. I'm going with Houston
So
Roughnecks.
This is the whole reason why I miss Wade Phillips. You see, first of all, they got a badass wide receiver. What's that dude's name? Cam Phillips? Yeah. Boss. That dude he's a freaking monster. And Wade Phillips himself is a good coach. And shout out to Wade Phillips. I miss you as a Cowboys coach. I really do. If you can come on back, you know what I'm saying, convince Jerry to hire you back, I'll take you. But Wade Phillips,
he never wants to work.
I know, yeah.
He's like, fuck no. He got. First of all, I thought it was bullshit when he got fired from Jerry.
It was absolute.
He got fired, in my opinion, because
it was very unwarranted.
Well, it was because Jerry wanted the team to be about Jerry. He wanted the media to talk about Jerry, not the coach. His coach started to become more famous than him. Mm-hmm. He didn't like that, so he fired him. He was like, "Who will never be more famous than me? Jason Garrett."
Jason Garrett, the clapper.
So that's easy. I can bring in Jason Garrett. No one will ever come to him instead of me.
I couldn't fucking
stand Jason Garrett. Yeah. Anyway, but Wade Phillips is a good coach. I mean, he pays attention to the details, and that's why the Roughnecks are number 1. So yeah, I'm gonna back you up on that. Roughnecks win this game.
All right, we got to wrap it up here. I've been eating up at your time. Hey, so you have sparring going on tonight? I had to look this up after you talked to me because I was like, okay, so sparring, it's kind of this simpler version of boxing. Break down sparring for the audience.
So basically, all sparring is just you were just putting your practice to work. You know what I mean? It's almost like when you run scrimmage in football or you're running team scrimmage in basketball when you're doing the 505s and stuff. But except it's one-on-one. So I did a lot of mixed martial arts and boxing training in my younger years, and as I've gotten older, now that I work at where I work at, a couple of people have asked me to not train them, but just teach them what I know, because I don't claim to be a guru. I'm not you know what I mean. If you want to get trained by somebody, go to another gym. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I was like, okay, cool. So every Friday or Saturday we meet up at the park. You know, we run like drills, like, parrying drills, head movement drills, working on simple things like how to throw a proper 1-2, just simple stuff. And then afterwards we'll have what I call fluidity sparring. So we're not sparring hard at all. We're just kind of working through the motions. You know what I mean?
So meaning are punches landing in sparring?
Oh yeah, no, they're landing, but you're going about 50%.
Okay, got it. So I'm throwing 50% of a punch.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be so bad when I connect on one.
Yeah. We're not sitting there trying to beat each other up. None of that stuff. It's just to put all the work and all the teaching that we got that day into practice.
Okay, cool. So you got that going on tonight?
Yeah.
Awesome. That should be fun. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to sign off here. If you like anything you saw in today's episode, if you like anything about anything at all whatsoever, I don't give a shit. Click the like button if you didn't fucking like it. Like, subscribe.
Do something. Shit.
Yeah, I like the likes. I like the subscribes. They make me feel good inside. So please like and subscribe. This is the Vets and Beer Podcast. Have a good weekend. I'll catch you guys on Monday.
See you guys next time.